Hey guys, I have a question for you. Have you ever had somebody in your life that you cared about very, very, very much, and you could see that they were making some really bad decisions? And not just the kind of decisions that were like a blip of rebellion that were going to be over pretty soon and it was going to be no big deal later, but the kind of decisions that were going to affect them for the rest of their life. That's tough. Okay. I have subscribers from all over the world, so different cultures are different. I have a question from someone who has a younger sister. They live in a culture where it is very frowned upon for you to even be perceived as promiscuous, if I understand that correctly. So if you're getting married in this culture, you better be a virgin. And if you're not, you're probably not going to get married. So hanging out with the wrong crowd, older guys, doing anything that would give anyone the impression that you're not pure has lifetime consequences, especially for a woman in this culture. So this young man is very concerned about his younger sister, and I just totally applaud that. I love it when an older brother is protective of his sister. Lots of women, I think, would be better off in this world if they had that, brother figure at least. So good job. But his concern is, how do I address this with my sister? Because she's making some really bad decisions, and I'm worried that this is going to affect her forever. And I don't know what to do. She won't listen to anybody. Well, my question to the brother is, what kind of a relationship do you have with your sister? And I always flip that around when someone asks me, what do I do when this is happening in someone else's life? The question back to you is, who are they to you? And who are you to them? If you look at you from the perspective of your sister, who would she say you are to her? Would she say that she feels loved by you, cared for, protected? If she wouldn't say those things, then my suggestion to you would be to work at building that relationship with her. And different cultures are different, so, I don't know what's appropriate, how much time you can spend with your sister. I don't know what her love language is. A quick search of the 5 love languages would help you kind of understand what fulfills her. So usually people rebel because of a deep hurt that turns into anger. So there's something missing, okay, and she's trying to get the void filled, and that's hurtful. And now she's ticked, and she's going to go off and do what she wants, and sometimes that can be pretty rough. Some people do that in a really, really, really destructive way. Some people are just a little bit frustrating and annoying for their parents. So this kind of sounds like it's kind of in the middle, but reaching over too destructive because of the culture. So that's a little scary. But I would encourage you to take a really deep breath, sit and think about your relationship with your sister. How do you think she views you? And if she already feels loved and protected and cared for by you, then by all means, sit down with her and have the hard conversation. If any of you have been watching my YouTube channel very often, or my blog, obviously, you know that I'm a pretty direct person, because life's too short to go through not saying things that need to be said. And most of the time we regret those things. Okay, we regret the things that we didn't say. We regret those things. So if you have a good relationship with her, then talk with her about it. And even if it's incredibly uncomfortable for you, it needs to be a love sandwich. You need to sit down with her and tell her how much you love her, how much you care about her, how much you worry about her. Tell her how you're viewing her rebellion and why you're concerned that it's going to affect the rest of her life. Maybe she doesn't quite understand. You know, maybe she doesn't understand how she's being perceived. Maybe she doesn't understand how stiff the culture is. If she's a teenager, she may really have a hard time understanding things that are way out into the future simply because of brain development. It's just really hard. So, you know, be very gentle with her. This has to be a very gentle conversation. If it becomes accusatory, if she becomes mad, then back off and just say, you know, I'm not trying to make you mad. I love you and I care about you, and I'm just worried, and you know, I'm just wondering how I can help. If she understands that you're trying to be helpful, well, that's different, okay? Now, if she doesn't feel loved, cared for, protected by you, then you're gonna have to spend some time with her. You know, have some conversation with her. I don't know how, in some cultures it's not really generally acceptable to give somebody a hug, but that's a human need, and people don't thrive very well when they're not hugged and I guess shown love that way. So if she has a love language of like physical affection where she just needs, you know, to be hugged, and that's not happening, then because of the culture, then, you know, she's going to have a really hard time. You know, what she's doing is she's trying to fill a void. So you gotta kind of figure out what's going on. What is the void? Oftentimes we fail to understand that we have a void, if you look at it this way, like a cookie cutter shape or a puzzle shape, that is in the shape of our Creator. And our Creator is the only one that can fill